Okay, folks, we're going to get started with the awards ceremony. You want to find a seat, a cup of coffee. We've got a number of special awards that we're going to do here. How about a big round of applause for Muffy Dickinson on the piano? Once again, thank you, Muffy. How was the course out there? Not bad for snow drought here, eh? Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody here to the 35th Annual Buena Vista Snowjourn Award Ceremony. First, I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors. First and foremost, Buena Vista Ski Area and the Logging Heritage Museum and the Dickinson family. Muffy, Suzanne is there in the back. Thank you, Suzanne. Obviously, without their land, their trails, and this building, Snowjourn wouldn't be what it is. So we're also gracious and thankful for their support. So, and they could use your support too. The ski hill is always open for more skiers. So, and hopefully there's good skiing up yet in March. And what is it? March 15th. Buena Vista is celebrating its 65th anniversary, and they are having a celebration that way. So mark that on your calendars if you would. Bemidji Cross Country Ski Club is key to this event. It provides the grooming, the equipment for that. Minnesota Finlandia is key involved here with the timing shack and all of the support that they do. We have a number of businesses. Home Place Bike and Ski Shop, or Ski Shop, excuse me, have always been strong supporters here. The Woolen Mills, Bemidji Woolen Mills, Harmony Co-op, Bridget's Pub, Tudo Bene. Trying to think of, I probably should just hand it over to, here's the list. Sunrise Foods, Harmony Co-op, I said, Sparkling Waters, and Tudo Bene. So we want to thank those businesses for giving us a good shot of support here. First thing we want to do here is recognize our middle school skiers. This is the second year of having our Northern Minnesota Middle School Championships. And we had 8 middle schoolers ski. Okay, so we'll start with the females. In first place with a time of 23:37 is Gwendolyn Yusso. Raise your hand. All right. Second place, Kinley Prestigard with a time of 25:30. Great. And in third place with a time of 32:40, Ella Martin. And in the boys category, in first place, Nicholas do so with a time of 22:13. Second place, Riley Cholette with a time of 22:45. I misspoke my French there, I'm sorry. In third place, Dylan Heiners with a time of 23:06. Fourth place, Logan Johnson with a time of 24:40. And in fifth place, Sam Schultz with a time of 29:44. First place, so Nicholas and Gwendolyn. You get a scraper and wax. All right. And you all win a door prize. Compliments of Buena Vista ski area. There's a downhill lift pass to be used all the way up to next year. So thank you for coming out and doing Snowjourn. All right, how about a final round of applause for our middle school players? Just want to kind of a note that we have Eric Carlson here on the video camera. We wanted to preserve this 35th for posterity, so smile. You will be on YouTube, and who knows, this could be a YouTube sensation. What do they call that? Going viral, right? So, anyways, we thank Eric for doing that. In addition to being a videographer, rumor has it that Eric kind of can play the guitar and kind of can sing. So, we thank him for helping us out today. The next thing we want to do here, Snowjourn tradition, is to do our annual presentation of the Johnson Jarvie Snowjourn Award. And so I would like to ask Roger Jarvie and Mike Johnson to come up at this time here. Roger has skied Finlandia, excuse me, it's not Finlandia, it's Snowjourn. He has skied Finlandia too, but Snowjourn for 35 years now. His partner in crime was Lloyd Johnson, and Lloyd had also skied continuously up to, unfortunately, he met cancer and took him to the ski trails way up there. And we're sad about that passing, but the tradition of the Johnson family is continued with his son Mike stands in for Lloyd and represents the Johnson family with this. So, how about a round of applause for our charter skiers?
Okay, I want to thank everybody for showing up today. I've always viewed this as a family and a community event, and a lot of new faces here. Welcome, and some old guys too are here. Lloyd and I started doing this many years ago when the outdoor program at BSU sponsored it first. And it was just one of those things that I knew I was never going to be a fast skier, but I could actually plug my way through. So for all you new skiers, always support your sport. So I'm getting to that age where I'm not, all the old veteran skiers I have passed on, and now we're into kind of a new generation and new recipients. And I don't see them out there because I'm not out there as much. But I know this year's recipient has been supportive of cross-country skiing in the Bemidji area. I remember him out on feed stations with the Finlandia many years ago. So that's why we call him John, the Banana Man Dean. Welcome, John.
Thank you. So I've written a few thoughts about this guy here. So bear with, and if you have to laugh, that's okay too. John Wayne Deeden is the longest serving board member in the history of the Minnesota Finlandia Community Health Sports Organization. John joined the Finlandia board in 1994 at the same time as his sidekicks, Mark Walters, and yours truly, Bruce Linkman. Mark and Bruce did a short-timer stint of less than a decade on the board, but John has persevered over 2 decades now, training in countless new Finlandia board members on the Deeden way of athletic organizing. During John's early years on the Finlandia board, the board made a number of radical changes to the Finlandia ski race, which included establishing a separate classical event, now known as the 25K Buena Vista Classic. Back in the 1990s, all major ski races, including the Morawassalopa American Birthfinder, only had one category, freestyle. And of course, skate skiers dominated the awards. Finlandia was the very first national Nordic ski race to offer a separate classical style event with its own awards. It took many years, over a decade perhaps, but eventually all of the races, including Mora and the Birkie, established separate classical events. But Finlandia was the first, and John was a key part of that radical Finlandia decision and its implementation. As mentioned before here in the introduction, John is better known in Finlandia terms as the Banana Man. Coming out of the starting blocks as a new board member, he took over the role of Chief of Feed Stations with the goal of revolutionizing the position, or in layman's terms, Dedenizing the job. John ruled the Finlandia's feed stations for around 15 years until he elected to serve our country with the National Guard deployment to Afghanistan in 2008 and 2009, and thus passed his head banana role on to his proteges. As Chief of Feed Stations, John ruled all things in Finlandia banana land with a firm but compassionate hand, operating under the KISS theory, keep it simple, stupid. As the King Banana, John's responsibilities include assessing for all the needed food items and other supplies for feed stations, recruiting and organizing volunteers for the station, recruiting and organizing transportation support, and packing feed stations the Deden way. The Deden way of feed station prep includes cutting oranges and bananas with military precision and bagging them along with raisins so as not to damage a single banana or orange or raisin. And of course, packing the feed stations had to be done the Deden way. Each item in the supply box, which we'll get to here quickly, had to be placed in the correct sequence to protect the supplies on its perilous journey from this building out to the feed stations. And the trip from here to hunting shack or cans is the most dangerous part of being a Finlandia banana. It is also the hardest part of John's job, as he had to give up control of the bananas to volunteer snowmobile drivers who often didn't give a damn about bananas. And they have been known to tip the supply sled, spilling precious water, sport drink, and yes, very tragically, bananas onto that cold Buena Vista snowpack. And John's worst nightmares have also been realized when novice feed station suppliers misread, did not read, or just got confused with the direction signs to the feed stations and got lost when attempting to deliver the supply boxes to a feed station. And the race just started. Have you ever seen a banana man blow up? And speaking of supply boxes, for the uninformed cross-country ski racer, the supply box is the most important item tool in the ski race for a willing or unwilling body after boots, skis, poles, and bindings, and maybe some wax. Feed station boxes contain the lifeblood and the ability to save blood for a marathon race or a 10K tour. In his patented and copyrighted New York Times best-selling book, How to Organize Nordic Feed Stations and Still Stay Married, by author John Wayne Deden, John has this, is the list. The list did come down from a higher power, from above, and bestowed upon John the sacred responsibility of the keeper of the list. And that is to inform ignorant feed station chiefs across Nordic country about the Deden way of doing things. So quickly here, we'll do a little demo of the list and what John does every year getting feed station stuff out. So the box there, labeled all the feed stations, okay. And then we've got the proverbial tray.
Not a sled.
And not a sled. And we've got bag. granola bars, donut balls, of course bananas, I'll take those, raisins, oranges, cups, water containers, bungee straps,
Keep the water in.
right, first aid kit, or hard candy,
More so for the volunteers. Duct tape. Energy drink.
energy drinks,
Matches, which we only recently remembered to put back in. And waxing kit, which is the same wax from the very first Finlandia, so don't use it. A blanket for those who get hypothermia cold. A radio. Batteries for the radio. These are kid volunteers. Volunteers.
Get to it.
A knife, which is supposed to be plastic because we are dealing with kids. The list of how to do it, and then last thing,
but, yeah.
MRI.
MRIs. And this is for feed stations, knowing that Lisa Belay may still be out on the course. And last but not least, EP and a spare. So, and this task here can take all night to accomplish this task. John has been known to spend the entire night before Finlandia race right here along with his Finlandia partner in crime, Mike Herman, in this building. So they've been known to sleep on a bench here. So anyways, in John's book here, he also has he also outlines the thing about going to the feed station for water, which involves getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going to the Walnut Hall to get the water. Oftentimes what happens is his help doesn't show up. Dean has to do it on his own, and he gets on what we call the solo Dean mission. And so we've kind of thought about that a little bit in John's military experience. Back in the day, early days of the 1990s, the National Guard was a prominent fixture here. Their mission changed. They went to Iraq and Afghanistan, as John did, and that kind of put the National Guard out of the picture. But John has continued as a National Guard guy to be here every year, year after year. So on a final note here, on his two decades here as a Finlandia board, John has been very successful in demonizing Finlandia, meaning getting rid of the silly, stupid stuff, eliminating waste and fat, saving money, and kissing everything, keeping it simple, stupid. And John has been known to stand on his soapbox, banana box, during Finlandia meetings and elsewhere and teach his message, which is something like this. It's really simple, folks. Nordic skiers are easy to please. Give them good snow, a set of tracks, a cup of water, a max or banana, and a donut ball for dessert, and a high five, and that's all. That's it. That's all they need. Nothing more, nothing less. In fact, John has been so successful in demonizing the Finlandia that this year, what happened? No Finlandia. That made things really simple this year. John and so thanks to John's divine powers, things were very simple with Finlandia. So with that, we'd like to present John with the Johnson Jarvie Snowjourn Award, and maybe we'll organize for a photo here.
I'm good.
Nice hats. I really don't have too much to say other than I notice a lot of the guys, like Roger said, that I hang around are getting pretty gray in the hair. We started when we had brown hair, And basically it's just an invitation for some of the younger folks to get involved. And like Bruce said, I've tried to keep it a little simpler, maybe not so overwhelming, so that a guy that gets on the board or gets involved has to sit and look at 20 cases of bananas. Now you're probably only looking at 4 cases. So it's, or maybe even 2. But, thank you very much. Appreciate the recognition, but I also want to thank everybody that's ever been involved for helping me out with some of the tasks I had. So thank you.
I wanted to elaborate a little bit on the story that Bruce started with about us sleeping here one night. My fondest memory and probably my worst nightmare, but we decided one year, about 4 or 5 years ago, when we almost canceled because of cold, we were afraid of those precious bananas freezing, so we got the bright idea that we were just going to sleep in here. And we ended up getting our supply of wood, which was basically just some slabs that were cut from the sawmill over there. And I don't know if you're familiar with those, but they only burn for about 5 minutes, and then they're done. So we basically stayed here all night. We went over and we're setting some posts in the ground to put fencing up the next morning until about 3 in the morning, and it was about 20 below, and you could just hear us in the valley going, tink, tink, echoing through at 3, 4 in the morning. We were worried about the police showing up. But we did proceed to sleep in here, and it was a procedure of every 5 minutes getting out of the sleeping bag, putting a new piece of wood in, and then it was his turn. He would get out of his sleeping bag, put more wood in. We ended up sleeping in the timing shack the next day and missed a good chunk of the race because we were so tired from staying up all night long. So thanks, John. Great idea.
Anybody else have a Deedon story they'd like to share? Any chance?
Oh, hey.
Yep.
He does a better Alvin impression than Alvin does himself, so ask him later on how Alvin talks. He does a really great impression.
Well, I have one Deedon story, and I have to tell it because my son is in the back and was part of this deal. Back in the mid-'90s, I was the race director for Finlandia, and probably I'm the main reason that Deedon got on his KISS theory, because I like to keep things complicated and do more than is necessary, and probably still have some of that going today. But on that particular event, folks remember Finlandia was bigger back then until Deedon did his thing, and we were at the Holiday Inn, or whatever that's called at the time. With our registration, we had booths. We maybe had music that night. I can't quite remember. But as you walk up and you see the Paul Bunyan and Babe on that trailer, so back at that time, it was in somebody's snowbank somewhere, and I was determined that we need that Paul and Babe, right, greeting skiers as they went into the Holiday Inn there. So we got it drug out and got it parked there. And Deedon was like, this is stupid. And not only that, then I was very interested in having that come back up here to greet skiers. And so at 11 o'clock at night, I convinced Deedon to hook that trailer up to his truck and to bring it up here. And Jesse somehow got coerced into the story there. So they hooked up the trailer to Paul and Babe, and this is 11 o'clock midnight at night or something, coming up Irvin Avenue, just past the bridge, just before, I think maybe the school there. Folks might remember there used to be a heck of a frost heave in that road. So they hit that frost heave. The trailer came unhooked from the trailer, and here's Paul and Babe behind Deedon's truck, fishtailing from side of the road to side of the road, and then banging into the back of the truck. And as I remember the story, Jesse didn't have his seatbelt on. And as that's happening, he's trying to get his seatbelt out hooked up. And I'm sure Deedon is saying some choice words about Bruce at that moment. He did his Deedon military thing and got that darn thing under control, banging in the back of his truck. There was a dent, and forever John would point that dent out to me for years and years about that's Paul and Babe's dent. And got it to the side of the road there, and it sat there. Folks might even remember this for, I think, a few weeks before we got it moved. So anyways, so Deedon's, that's my Deedon's story. And so thanks, John, for keeping things unsimple that night for me. Oh, and here comes Chris. All right.
I've got a story from a long time ago, and I thought about it when we were talking about the National Guard. This was in the Finlandia back in the 70s. It was one of the first couple of years. And back then, what we would do is we'd start out on the lake in Bemidji, and we'd ski out to here, and we'd ski the trails. And the second day was 100K. So the second day, we'd ski these trails backwards and then ski back to Bemidji. These trails aren't all set up to ski backwards. But anyway, one time, one of the first years, they neglected to have one of the feed stations set up. And so it was a long ways between feed stations. And the National Guard were assisting. And a number of us were coming unglued because we needed some refreshments. And one National Guard guy opened up his thermos and gave people some of his hot chocolate, saving the day. And this isn't something I'd even thought about until we started talking about the National Guard, and I'd have to say thanks, because over the years, National Guard's been very instrumental in the Finlandia, and I have to say thanks a lot.
And if folks noticed, John Deedon took the last spot on the plaque. I don't know what we're going to do. We may have to build an addition, perhaps. I think we will. So, but that shows you the history of the Johnson Jarvie Award here. Started in 1996, and here we are, about 20 years later, still doing it. So some of you young folks, younger guys in here, someday, hopefully your name will be on the plaque.
We should acknowledge people who are here today.
Oh, sure, that's a good idea. So, we'll acknowledge folks that are here, and there's a number of them that are here. Obviously, Lloyd and Roger Jarvie, the Earl Dickinson family. So, I'll even do the dates. 1996, Lloyd and Roger, that was on the 20th anniversary. 1997, the Earl Dickinson family. 1998, Bob Montebello, and Bob is here. All right, Bob. 1999 and 2000, we had a severe cold cancellation in 2000, heaven forbid a no snow cancellation. Then in 201, Merv Gilman, I think I saw Donna here, so Donna's sitting in for Merv. 202, John and Sue Tipstra, and they are here. 203 was Bruce and Bunny Slinkman, and my wife and grandkids are in the back. So maybe someday one of those grandkids will be up here doing this kind of thing. 204, Bruce Mansky. 205, Jan Niskanen. 206, Bill and Judy Grundy, and they're here. They did the timing. 207, Jim Mergens. 208, Angie Nisler. 209, John Baumgartner. 210, Vicki Brown. 211, Mark Walters, and Mark is here, although his voice is not. And 212, Wanda and John Ahrens, and they are here. And 213, Alvin and Molly Hines, I think they're in Alaska right now. And last year, Lee and Polly Scotland, and I think Lee is here, Shock is here. Okay, so, and of course, the Banana Man for this year. All right, we have one more special recognition that we'd like to do here. And at this time, I would like to invite John and Sue Tipstra to maybe come on up front. I didn't directly say we were going to honor them, but they might have figured it out because I've been asking a few little history questions and some things like that. John and Sue, as folks might have heard, through the ski rumor mill, have decided to retire, is a nice way of putting it. So based on that, we thought we want to take this moment with the ski community here to do a bit of a recognition. So I prepared some thoughts here. I'll try and be more brief than I was with Dean. But just a little bit of history here. The home place story started back in the 1970s with Jerry and Joyce Item had the home place resort, selling skis out of there. They decided they could do business in Bemidji, I guess, and bought the home place location that it is. Ran it through the 70s and into the 80s, and then at that point in time, John and Sue came into the picture. John came on as the manager for the first 3 years, I believe. Yeah, and they've had it ever since. And I think anybody in Bemidji growing up in the 70s and the 80s probably got their first pair of skis from the home place. And they've continued to support cross-country skiing, Nordic skiing, silent sports, all these different events that have gone on over the years. The Ride Stride the Divides, the Go Tours, the Minnesota Canoe Championships, the triathlon, all these events they've always done great support for, including this one, Buena Vista Snowjourn. They've been here year after year, providing generous gifts of door prizes and things. So, I also want to acknowledge them for everything they've done with the organizational support. Both of them, I believe, have been on the Finlandia board. One of you has, I think, right? John has. Sue has been on the ski club board. She's still the ski club treasurer. She's threatening to maybe step away from that. I don't know if the board will let her do that. Treasurer forever. So they've really done a nice job supporting skiing in that capacity. Also want to kind of acknowledge what Sue has really demonstrated for a lot of us here. Folks may know she's been challenged with cancer, and she's just really done an outstanding job of having a great attitude about it, persevering, and getting the upside of it. And I think she's been a model for a lot of us on how to go about adversity, and we really respect that, Sue. So I did have, I got a little prop here, kind of a prop guy. But this is in 1976, my parents got our whole family into cross-country skiing with all red Fisher skis. I don't know how many hundreds of these probably went out of the home place shop in the day. I remember, these are 215s. That's how they used to be. And so I skied on these. And my first ski race was the Buena Vista Snowjourn in about 1978, and I was just talking to Mike about this. My little Snowjourn story is that I was skiing that race, and I was probably 18 or 19, 20, and Mike was 11 or 12, and he was right behind me the whole way with a little bell on the tip of his ski that Lloyd Johnson put on there, and ding, 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 and I was just not going to let that little guy beat me. And I'm not even sure how the outcome was, but anyways, I was on these red skis. But the other reason I wanted to do this is there's a little sticker on here folks can see. It says quality from the home place. And I thought about that when I saw these skis, and I thought that's what the Tipstras and the home place have been about for all these years is quality. Quality folks, both John and Sue are, kind, compassionate, caring, especially caring for ailing skiers and their equipment. Quality equipment, the Swicks and Rossignol and Solomon, Trek, Schwinn, all these really quality products that they've carried, and quality employees. And I guess as I look around the room, raise your hand if you worked for John or Sue in the last 29 years. All right, so I see Bonner Carter, Brody Carter, Mark Walters, Pat Dene, Brett Ahrens, Devin Ahrens, Lee Fronender, he was here. There he is over there. So it might be a stretch, but I think you could call these folks quality folks too. And certainly John and Sue had a little tiny influence on that. So we are very appreciative and thankful for all that you've, John and Sue have done for cross-country skiing, biking, silent sports throughout the 29 years that you've owned the home place. And we wish you, farewell, moving into your retirement. Not sure exactly when they're going to close the store. John said, well, maybe March, maybe April. We'll see how it goes. Sue told the ski club board the Tipstras never move into anything quickly. So with that said, we have a couple little things we want to give you.
I thought you were going to give us the skis.
So we have a gift certificate for Sparkling Waters for John and Sue to have a very nice dinner for two or more, right, from the ski community. Buena Vista, compliments of Suzanne. Buena Vista ski hats. Okay. All right, a round of applause for Buena Vista.
I want to thank you all for all the kind words and verbal hugs and all that kind of stuff. It's always nice to hear. It's been a good run. We'll still be around. I don't know if we'll be on all the boards, but we will still be volunteering and hanging out. And you'll see us around. I'll still wear the Minfin jacket for the 3 races in the winter. This is actually from the 1970s. These jackets were given out to different volunteers, and this was given to a friend of mine who then gave it to me. I was in the first Minfin van timing the race with, Marty Hall, with Karen Laddick and at the time and me, and we sat in the van for 6 hours while you guys all skied. If that wasn't fun. But that's where we all became oopers, the order of finishers, and I think I've skied the tour once. Otherwise, I've been volunteering, and the Snowjourn I did ski once. Otherwise, I've climbed that quite a bit too. But that's fun. You get to see everybody. So thank you again. April 1st, we'll be closing the doors and probably reopening in the fall, just if we have other stuff left. But we're doing an inventory reduction right now, and I'm good with my stuff. It's hanging in there. And it's due to a lot of support in the community. So thank you so much. You want to say anything?
Is there anybody else that would like to say anything to John and Sue? Okay, well, you're welcome to do it in person, of course, or at the shop. So I'm going to ask them to stay up because I'm going to ask them to hand out our first prize prizes because it'll be the last time that we do home place gift cards here. So, yeah.
Antiques Roadshow got some of those boxes.
That's right. So that's what we figure. If you're one of the first place winners, you may want to, when you go into the shop, maybe get it back or save it or get it back from John so that pass it on to your grandchildren, because as Sue said, maybe in 100 years it'll be worth millions of dollars on Antique Roadshow. One other recognition I want to do before we do the awards. I've done a little research in the last week about grooming and groomers. And as I'm finding out, I think we do have a grooming royalty person in our room here. I started thinking about Bob Montebello, and Bob is, I believe, Bob? Yeah, hi Bob. I believe, if I can share your age, are you 89? 88. 88 going on 89. And I started wondering, well, how many other groomers are this old? So I started by checking the state of Minnesota and talked with the state DNR guy, and they put the word out. Nobody in the state of Minnesota so far has said older than that. And I have two contacts of kind of groomer gurus, stumble over that word, but Eric Anderson from ABR and out in Michigan, and then Doug Edgerton in West Yellowstone really know the grooming community. And I put an email out to them. Who's the oldest groomer? And talking about Bob, they didn't know of anybody any younger or any older. And then I put an email out to the East Coast, to Vermont, to Craftsbury, because they're a hub out there. They came up with a young guy, 85 years old, who's still grooming. So it's not verified. We haven't gotten a Guinness Book of World Records thing on here yet, but we're working on it. But it really appears that we may have the oldest groomer, active cross-country ski trail groomer in the nation in our midst here, Bob Montebello. So would you stand up, Bob? So this is a little off the cuff. We didn't have a formal, we don't do any plaques till it's formalized, but Bob, based on this, I'd like you to take Sally to Bridget's Pub and treat her to a dinner, walleye dinner. All right, how about a big round of applause for Bob Montebello, our elder groomer. Okay, I'm going to kind of pass the mic to our, and actually I realized I forgot to do a quick recognition of our volunteers. Brody and Bonner Carger were the voice of Finlandia. Sorry. Our groomers were Mike Herben and Mark Walters. Registration, Roger Jarvie, Joan Sagadol. Timing, Bill and Judy Grundy. And Sue Tipstra helped. And Joan Sagadol. And am I missing anybody? Right, and Roger in the soup line, right. And I made the soup, so if it was bad, you can blame the race directors. Okay, we're going to wrap up with our overall awards. We wanted to keep the Tipstras up here to have them hand out those precious keepsake overall first place prizes.
Well, thanks everybody. As Bruce said, I'm Brody. This is my brother Bonner. We were very happy to watch you guys come across the line and announce your numbers and do all that kind of fun stuff. We're going to start out with the third place finishers. You got all the results there, Bruce? We're going to work our way up suspension style. It's real suspenseful. Okay, so third place for the 12K Classic male skiers, we have David Harrington of Bemidji. Come on down, David. Either David's legs hurt too much or he left. So we're going to move on to second place. Chris Nielsen, one of our local fast guys around here. Chris Nielsen. What did Chris get for the second prize here? Second place.
Pick out a pair of socks.
Just for the listeners at home here, we've got the Wigwam Hike socks. These are real super deluxe socks from the Woolen Mills, I believe. Is that right, Bruce? Who wouldn't want a pair of these? You can wear them on your hands and feet.
And they can be exchanged. So if Chris gets the wrong size or he likes pink or fuchsia better, which he does. Or actually it's purple, purple. All right, so first prize. We got to do the big first prize here for the men's.
Yep, that is
There we go.
that guy.
Some guy named Mark Walters took first place. Man, where is that Mark? Congratulations, Mark. Mark's getting prize blocked here. He can't quite get up. Oh. One thing you might not know about Mark is that he skied this race with only a partial lung. Mark was recently deathly ill, and he recovered enough to.
Definitely ill.
Congratulations, Mark. First place classical skier. Thanks for the ski school too, as you skied in. You gave us all a great lesson on how to do it. How to do it correctly. So did John, but he came a little bit later. Oh, we got third place up here finally. He was out in the porta potty, I think.
That's right.
David Harrington. All right, who do we have next, Bruce? We got the ladies.
We do that, and we just have one.
We've got the winner of the ladies 12K Classic, Darla Lenz. Darla, are you still here? All right, Darla. Wow. Darla took first, second, and third place.
First and last.
First and last place in this race. Nice work, Darla. Darla's loading up on the prizes up here. Okay, we moved from the 12K freestyle, or from the classic to the freestyle. Third place in the male overall 12K freestyle is Brett Ahrens. Brett. Now he said he let his brother Devin just go ahead of him a little bit because he's starting to respect him a little bit now that they're both adults and they have children and that kind of thing. So, congratulations, Brett. Second place, Devin Ahrens. No relation. Devin, are you still here? Devin was napping in the back. He's got another race later this afternoon. He's got to. They can't quite decide what size, what color. Okay, first place, 12K freestyle, Brad Kuzel. Brad's skiing part of it backwards. There you go, Brad. Bunch of local fast guys here. It's fun to watch these guys come across the line. Then we're going to go on to the female 12K freestyle. All right, third place, Lisa Martin. Woo! Nice work, Lisa. In second place, we had Michaela Walters. Way to go, Michaela. Michaela was second place. Michaela came all the way from Eau Claire, Wisconsin today. She just flew in. Arms are really tired. First place, Jenna Trudson. Congratulations, Jenna. Okay, and now we also have awards for the Wood Ski Classic. These are the people that skied on things that should be hung on walls. Now, some of these skis really work well, right? Wood ski skiers.
Right, so I think what we're going to do here is we're going to give it to the two slowest.
We're going to go to the two slowest wood and wool skiers because most likely they were, the most authentic. So we have Daniel Domeyer. Hopefully I'm saying that right, Daniel. Daniel? No Daniel? Then we also have Monty Draper. Monty, I think, just left too.
All right, so we will get those awards to them.
All right, thank you. Okay, what next, Bruce?
So how about a round of applause for our winners?
Next, we're going to do some door prizes. We've got some real fabulous stuff up here for.
Excuse me.
We've got an excuse.
My son, first place, wood ski.
Oh, Well, we went for the slowest on the wood ski. Congratulations to your son. Leaf was far too fast to be the slowest skier. Hey, Leaf, stay tuned because we're going to have the door prizes here for your son, ma'am.
He needs a hole to crawl into.
We want to make people happy here. All right, we're going to pull names here. We're going to call people up. Monty's gone. No Monty? More prizes for the rest of us.
Billy Freehold.
Billy? We got a Billy Freehold? Oh, Billy, when you guys come up for your prizes, you can choose whatever. Go wild, Billy. Only one, though. You can choose only one. I gotta say, too, my brother Bonner and I both worked at the Home Place Bike and Ski Shop, and it was really more like, you know, we were the kids of John and Sue, so it was...
These are two guys that we came back from vacation and found out they'd set up a relay course in the shop. So they would run upstairs from the basement, vault over the counter, go in, and we had Schwinn Airdynes at the time. They'd do so much time on Airdynes, come back, vault over. This was their circle. This is their circuit racing while we were gone. When it was slow, I'm sure.
Well, that's how we train. I mean, we had to be good examples of fitness for the customers that came in, so... No, we had a great time working at the shop. Roger Jarmy.
Roger.
Hey, Roger.
I think one of the funniest stories that still makes me laugh at the shop is when the guys, we were fixing the shop up, we'd taken the carpet off the floor. So there were some spots that had little holes in them. And Mark Walters was on the main floor trying to figure out what Devin Aarons was doing in the basement. So he was kind of looking down. You can't usually startle Mark Walters. But as he's looking down, Devin's taking a red Twizzler and ready to stick it up through the hole into Mark's face. And I thought we would have to scrape Mark off the ceiling. Just another tidbit.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, who's our next contestant?
Next one is Lisa Martin.
Lisa Martin, you won again. Come on down. Lisa left. Lisa's had enough of this awards business.
Yeah. Logan Jensen.
Logan Jensen? Hey, Logan. Come on down.
Well, how about getting a new radio on the basement at the shop? These guys were nuts. And I'm sitting there going, it's malfunctioning, I can't get it to turn up. And I'm up there turning the knobs, and then Mark Morrissey is behind me with a remote. And every time I try to turn it up, he keeps turning it down.
So I think you should just keep the mic. You're doing a great job. Was that somebody that we already called?
Terry Staton.
Terry Staton. No Terry? No Terry. Still got a few more. We got a Windstopper hat. Mike Johnson? Mike, you want a hat, some socks? Or the hat. Look at this hat, Mike. Well, finally, this guy wins something. He can't win for losing. Leif Ronander, way to go! Wow, Leif. Too fast for your own race, but at least you got some. This is. Oh, sorry, what's that? Oh, Lisa's back. Way to go, Lisa. Lisa, you got it right.
Before Lee.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, please don't announce it.
We're not going to announce why Lisa was gone for a little while. She had to tend to one of her children. They're needy. Oh. You got a little controversy up here, folks. Leif and Lisa battling it out for prizes. Nicholas Yuso. Dennis. We have Gwendolyn Yuso too. Gwendolyn?
Gift card to Coffee House?
Got a little bit of prize blocking going on here, folks. You might have to work around the prize pylons. Garrett Walters.
Way to go, Garrett.
All right, Riley Chalette. Did I say that correctly? Thank you, Sue. Riley, will you solve a controversy? How do you say your last name?
Chalette.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Riley. I think we pronounce it any other way possible. Okay, the next one is Patrick Dene, P. Diddy, Dr. Dene. He's also a longtime home place worker when he's not teaching people.
So I worked at home place much later in my life as kind of a summer job. And I don't know if any of you have had the privilege of using the facilities at the home place. So that's kind of an experience unto itself. It's kind of one of these echo toilets where it's in a space about this big, and it's a little curtain that you close, and there's not really water that comes out of the faucet. I'm not sure what it is, and the faucet doesn't really have on-off features. So if you want an experience of the home place before it closes, ask to use the facilities.
Starts washing their face when you ask to use the
Really? The pipes are frozen. That's kind of a good one. Do you remember the last MASH episode, what they did to the Jeep? Didn't they shoot the Jeep? I think that's what we're going to do to that.
It's very European, those facilities. Kind of puts you in touch with nature when you're Scandinavian, yeah. The wooden woolers would feel right at home, I think. Mark Walters gets something. And we also have Carl Walters.
Oh my goodness. All right, one home place anecdote, and I've worked with a lot of these characters there, but one of my favorite stories, hanging out with John and Sue, and this guy comes in, and he says to me, he wants some touch-up paint for his Airdyne. And I said, what'd you do, tip it over? I've never seen a customer so upset with me in 11 years of retail. Who tips over an Airdyne?
Thank you. Yes, every day we had stuff like that. Carl and Mark, you guys want stuff. You might as well get your loot. John did win, but, you know, Sue put him back in the box. Paul Johnson. We have Paul Johnson here? No Paul? Round 5 Paul. David Harrington. Who's that guy? David, I don't know, look at this guy. He's pretty well dressed already. I don't think there's anything we have that can improve on this.
As Dave walks up there, I'll remind everybody that next Sunday, March 8th at 11 o'clock is the Black Lake Loppet over on the Black Lake Trails there. And then the following Sunday is the Keg and Court Classic at the Three Island Trail, which is more of an adult race, if you want to call it that.
Mike, you're being summoned up here. Oh, we also have Bunny Slinkman. That's another winner. Bunny, are you still here?
The story of my life.
So I got the my two left-hand guys here for Snowjourn. Chief of course and assistant chief of course. We have to duke it out for that. But Mike and Mark have been doing Snowjourn grooming as a tandem for a number of years, and they did it again this year. Wasn't a lot to work with, but they pulled it out. And so I understand that every once in a while they go down to downtown Bemidji and do a thing. at one of the Irish pubs. The Office. The Office. So anyways, here's a ticket to the office for each of them.
Sweet.
All right, a round of applause for the groomers. Thank you.
Okay, the prizes are dwindling. Do we have the last one or two here, Sue?
Three, right
Okay,
there.
last three. Here we go, folks.
Casey.
Casey story.
How many? There's only.
Two t-shirts.
Two T-shirts, a BB pass.
Is Casey here? Yeah.
Casey, hi Casey. And now we've got a couple of T-shirts left. Last few prizes here. Ella Martin. Ella, are you here? Come on up, Ella. How about Bill Sheila? Bill? No? Bill Sheila? John Shoup was sick.
Okay. Matt Lee.
Matt Lean? Not sick? Matt, are you still here? No, Matt. Somebody had their own. Please come. Come on up, Lee. Lee signed his with a stamp. When you wear wool pants, you can sign your name with a stamp. Way to go. All right, thanks you guys. I'm going to hand it over to Bruce again for the closing remarks.
All right, who wants to go down? Who wants to go downhill skiing at Buena Vista? Needs a pass. Any kids? Somebody probably does. There you go. All right, here we go. All right. Okay, that wraps it up for the 35th edition of the Buena Vista Snowjourn. Candlelight ski tour tonight. Thanks for coming out. Keep skiing. And we'll see you all here next year. We'll do it again. Good night.
Oh, gosh. I couldn't miss this again.